Hello there. Welcome to Soul's Journey Across the Bridge. I'm Fazia. How are you guys doing? How are you doing? I have been staying away way too long. I say this every video. And I blame it on my phone storage. I blame it on the storage on my laptop. I blame it on all the storage. So I was like, you know what? No wonder people go live. I need to go live. Like, skip all that storage business, right? So a couple of years ago, I didn't know I was going to mention this. Glasses? Can I see without my glasses? So a couple of years ago, when I was in transition of like starting over in different stages in my life where I was in between places, I had storages like, oh my goodness. And even when I had taken my stuff out of a storage, put it into a new place, I had still kept some stuff in the storage because I was like, I'm going to sell it. I don't need it. What do I need it for? I need something new. And then I was like, you know what? Stop paying for all that storage. Bring that stuff into your place. So I did that. So why am I talking about that? I don't know. So I'm just sitting here and having one of those days where I need to probably think about, why is my glasses reflecting? Why are you reflecting like that? Like, you don't see my eyes. And so I'm having one of those days where no glasses. At least you guys can see me, even though it's blurry for me. Where I should be here thinking about what the next chapter looks like. This chapter is like, why sometimes, like, maybe what I need to do is change my mindset. I need to have like a band performing, trumpets and all, like drums playing as I march into the new chapter, right? So this is the mindset that I need to step into. So I don't know how much storage I got. I'm gonna get to the point if I know the point. But before we do so, I'm going to do 3 conscious breaths. Join me in doing 3 conscious breaths. Cool? Okay. Let's go. Two more. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Yeah, there you go. When you know that the next activity or the next thing to accomplish or the next thing to acquire or whatever it may be, when you know that those are all temporary, external satisfactions that like do their part, right? Like if you're hungry, you feed yourself and you're good. That doesn't mean you won't get hungry again. So when you know that, and you know that you have to then operate from a deeper sense of being, like a deeper sense of, why am I here? The grander scheme of things. Why am I here? What purpose am I here to serve? And I think every new chapter presents that question, reintroduces that question. So it's like, say you want to get a bigger home. You're like, why do I need a bigger home? What purpose is it going to serve? Is it going to have, weekend big breakfast with my babies? Like, is that what it is for? Is it for preparing so that in 5 to 7 years when the grandbabies come? Is it for that? Is it for, like, what is it for? And will I be making use of it? And then also, it's like every time you feel like there is something that um, you need compared to what you want, like to be able to identify what need will it really serve. And so, I don't know. And I think once Ms. Van Zandt said boredom is also something that needs to be healed. Like it's a result of like wounds, or like it's a representation of a present wound that needs to be addressed, right? So it's not like it's like, why are we not comfortable or okay with not doing anything? Why there has to be this need to do something, or even like the sense of feeling bored, needing to like get up and organize the space, or needing to like conquer the world, or needing to do something and not being still enough in the present moment. And I've challenged this many times, and I continue to do so. And so maybe there's a part of me, an aspect of me that is, I don't know if it's afraid or avoiding going even deeper, right? Even deeper to kind of see, like, why do the quiet moments don't offer the same satisfaction? And this is not constant. This is just like, you could be going on with life, minding your own business, and then all of a sudden you have a moment of stillness. And most of the time I manage my stillness very well, and I prefer it too, like my solo walks, or like just doing personal time and all that stuff. So I'm aware of how to just benefit from those personal times. But I think the one that kind of sneaks up on me is when I find myself going, and my moments of doing nothing, when I'm not responsible for anything, when I don't have to get up and cook for anyone, or even myself, when I don't have to like, day off from work or whatever. And then all of a sudden it's like, how many 10 things can I do? And so it's like this, and it's not a conscious anxiety, but it's more like an energy within me that it's like, okay, go, do this, do that. And so it takes me almost a day or so for me to be like, and this is me going, why we have to be outside? Why we have to be doing something? Why can't we just sit still? Why can't we just lay here? And so I plan to rearrange some of the bedrooms today. And I could do it, and it would be me, myself, and I. And if I was not rushing through it, I could do it without pulling too many muscles, right? But after I prayed, I came and I sat down, and I actually, before sitting down, I thought, you know what? Let me take today to just do nothing, or just rest, and then I can get to it tomorrow, right? Because I'm off tomorrow too, so I could do it tomorrow. And then I kind of accepted that. So, I felt myself like okay with that decision. It's like, okay, since we have made plans to do it, then it's okay that we rest today and do nothing. So I'm wondering that aspect of me was okay with being given a timeline to get to something that we have to do. So it's right. So I'm kind of trying to dissect and understand that energy. I'm trying to understand. Was that aspect of me afraid that we won't get to it? Like, we'll procrastinate on it, or we'll delay doing it until we have no time, and then we'll stress doing it? Because why was that aspect of me okay with us doing it tomorrow, as if we didn't have that option to begin with. It's almost like, I don't know, it feels like a kid saying to a parent, can we go and do this? And the parent is always saying, we'll do it tomorrow, we'll do it tomorrow. And not even we'll do it tomorrow, but it's like, yes, the parent's saying yes, yes, yes. And so the kid is like not getting a firm confirmation of when. And so finally when the parent says, we'll do it tomorrow, the kid is like, oh, so we have a timeline. I can't wait till tomorrow. I can definitely wait till tomorrow, because it's almost like just saying yes leaves it to this like, when will it happen? Not having confirmation of certainty that, you know, it's been prioritized, that time will be made to be able to accomplish that. And so, and it was such a relief for me, because I felt like, as the parent speaking to my inner child, I guess that's the aspect. It's like, you do know that we're on the same page. You do know that I want to do this thing, right? You do know that me saying yes and not having a firm timeline when to do it wasn't based on the fact that I didn't want to do it, but it was more based on the fact of resources, right? Like I was thinking earlier today, I was like, if I had enough manpower, it's not even that much work, like 2 hours. But that's me. That's my ability to pour into something and get it done, right? And so is it always the best way to be like, we have 2 hours, let's get moving and let's get this thing done? And also being able to understand, like, just because you can do that doesn't mean that that's everyone's preference, and you have to understand that as well. And so not judging, but respecting people's preference, and at the same time also understanding, like, if it's something that needs to be done within 2 hours, you have to find the right resources to make sure you can get it done within that timeline. Do you see what I'm saying? It goes back to also me having an issue with, like, when they hire, like, maintenance people to come do work, and it's just being dragged on. I'm like, what's the issue? And I don't personally, oh, okay, so this might be going on another path. And I don't personally prefer, like, people in my space for more than a few hours, or like a day, or even if it's longer, have a timeline. And just sometimes things might change and there's flexibility, but there's a difference between people who know what they're doing and they offer you an understanding of, like, what they're doing, and you can see the progress, and so you're okay with the timeline changing. But people who just seem to, like, not have the skills, and they're hoping time will allow them to kind of, like, figure it out. Anyhow, so as I said that, I thought, okay, so maybe this has to do something with maintenance people. And so the thought that came to my head was, growing up, we had a lot of people in my house that had different responsibility. We had the person who washed the clothes, hung the clothes, and ironed the clothes. Then we had someone who was a cook. So someone who came in, they cooked and did whatever. But then we also had someone who cleaned, right? Who cleaned the home. And we had just different maintenance. We had different people in the space. And I think, I don't know what the correlation is, because as I started talking, it's almost like my inner child was leading me to this conversation. Because I find that anytime I'm trying to stay busy, it's because I'm trying to run away from something that I need to face within me. And it's almost like not knowing how to face it or how to address it. So I kind of do this delay thing, where then eventually I'm like, okay, just sit down, lady. And then when I sit down is when I realize, oh, I was running away from something that I had to face, right? So at first it just seems like, oh, I'm being busy. But I've already previously identified that me choosing to stay busy was a form of distraction from emotions that I was having, that I didn't want to face. And so I already knew that, but I also knew over the years that sometimes it shows up for me where, in a way that I don't first identify it until I get to this very place So it might show up in my moodiness, or it might show up in my snappiness, or like it will show up in my ways of like I'm irritated, certain spaces no longer for me, like I feel like I'm shrinking to fit in spaces or to do certain things. Like I feel like I am tolerating being someplace and it's no longer fun. But I don't catch it. I don't catch. I associate it with whatever the space is, but not that I'm being triggered in some form, right? And I'm yet to identify if the trigger is also letting me know time has passed, time has expired, in the sense of like where I am, this is no longer for me, like it's time to pack up and leave the space. And it doesn't have to mean physically, it doesn't have to mean, it could mean all of those things, but you have to sit with it long enough to identify which one it is. And so I guess I've been feeling it in the last couple of weeks, just feeling a bit, like ants in your pants, like just being, and it could easily go back to like, okay, what kind of spiritual attacks are you experiencing? It could be that. And so I've been experiencing it, and I felt like I've been dodging certain attacks, and I've been aware and conscious of that. And all of that still hasn't brought me to a place where I'm like, something is being triggered within me about past events that needs to be released. Like I'm still unfolding that as I'm speaking right now. And so in terms of maintenance people in my home growing up, there are many, right? And my home was an open home. It was an open home because of all the people that were coming in every day to do work. And there wasn't necessarily somebody standing firm saying like, okay, you do this and then you leave. You do that and then you leave. There wasn't like, even the guards were not doing, they were doing their jobs, but they were also doing inappropriate other things. Do you see what I'm saying? Like the supervision of those maintenance people was necessary, but there wasn't a supervision. There wasn't someone assigned to make sure, like, that's why some people have these like assistants, personal assistants or whatever, to manage things. There wasn't a management team or a management person. Usually it's the husband or the wife, like they manage the people that come into the space, but there wasn't a management of all these people coming into the space. And those people, some of them in spaces where it was not visible, have done things that, had there been management supervision, they would not have had the ability to have done so many of those things. Like, yeah, some things can slip between the fingers, but it would be a few in between, not so many. You see what I'm saying? And so, and then this comes back to, again, needing to clean and rearrange the rooms. It goes back to like a clean space, and a clean space is not just about energy and vibration and things, energy being stuck, which is important too, that you want to make sure you maintain organization so the energy is flowing naturally and energy is not just stagnated in certain spaces. But also for me, one of the reasons that I've always wanted to maintain, and it felt like, how they say, like, I watched a video, an interview recently where the guy was saying like he would leave a candy wrapper on the counter, or his wife would leave a candy wrapper on the counter, and then like it would irritate him or her. I'm not sure, and it became to the point where it's like, what's more important, the candy wrapper or the person? And then having to just pick it up and put it in the trash rather than creating a whole issue between partners for something so small. And so it goes back to like me needing the space to be so well organized that it's almost like making sure nothing is hiding anywhere. And for me, I don't know if it's my sensitivity to energy that makes me feel that way, where I want to look out into the space and see like everything is flowing and nothing's out of place. And so, oh my goodness. And so, And maybe that was a skill that I had developed as a kid in order to survive my environment, was noticing when things were out of place, or usually when things happened, certain events took place, right? Or certain circumstances had to be present in order for things that were not supposed to happen taking place. So it's almost like it's like a trigger reminding me of like, oh, something is out of place. Okay, this happened, or this could happen. Do you see what I mean? And so it's something that I have to definitely process more and allow it to bring its full message in, right? Like, what's the cord connection between all of that? Because in the last 2 months, I've been like, okay, I need to reorganize the spaces. I need to reorganize the spaces. And I haven't had time because I've been like working. And then when I have free time, I'm resting, or I'm like doing other work that we need at home. And I think it also comes back to like just having the manpower to be able to get it done, because sometimes it feels to me like if I don't get it done now, it doesn't get done. And then that's that false sense of not false sense of urgency, but it's a sense of like you won't have time to do it another time. It's almost like this fear base of like, if it's not done now, something will create a sabotage that it won't happen another time. So it's almost like living in a space of like, it's now or never. It's this fear based, and it's like go, do this, do that, against another response that I need to evaluate and see what is the root of it, because it's not necessarily a response from reality of the current moment, right? It could just be emotions mimicking past events as like, oh, it happened in the past, it could happen again, and not sitting yourself down and saying like, hey, even though this happened before under their circumstances, it could have a different outcome now. It does not necessarily have to have the same outcome, right? So it's almost like I used to have this fear where if something good was happening, then it's like, oh, like, get ready, something really bad is gonna happen right after. So it's almost like not really allowing yourself to fully enjoy this good outcome that's taking place, right? So it's almost like you're watching your back to be like, this won't last, so hurry up and get into a posture of like defense or protection, because sooner this will shift. Instead of also the conversation around what can you put into place so that you can continuously have joy and satisfaction that are not constantly interrupted by different types of spiritual attacks. And so this is a lot, and it's like different topics being pulled into together, but it's almost like a rope that is attaching these different subjects. There's a connection between all of them, right? And maybe it's bringing me to a timeline where in my childhood where things were very peaceful and things were very happy, and then a huge change took place, and then it was just a consistent of like these negative, what we consider negative events, or events that were orchestrated by people so that they turn out to be in their favor and against my favor, or against the favor of others. And so it's almost like something was supposed to happen in a peaceful, satisfaction, joyful way, but then it's almost like someone is having their own karmic experience and they want to switch it with somebody else's non-karmic experience, right? And so then it creates this narrative in your mind where, or when good things happen, all these bad things follow. And so having to change that language, having to change that pattern of belief that has been like created by external factors, when you know that's not your reality, and you know that's not the truth of the natural experience of things. Like if someone was interfering and poking at the volcano is going to erupt, right? And if they do it next year, it will erupt again. Next year, it will erupt again. But if the volcano has been allowed to just do its own natural process, it might erupt every 500 years or whatever the case might be. So that's natural, right? And so learning to understand that, okay, that was events that had taken place in the past that like were caused, right? Those interferences that brought out unfavorable outcomes for me were controlled by too many hands at play, right? Rather than that was life's natural way of treating me or responding to me. Because it's like there's cause and effect. So if you haven't caused it and you don't live your life in ways where you're causing that, you shouldn't be experiencing that. And so sometimes we have this idea where like, oh, what did you do to experience all these different things? That's one way to look at it. And then there's other ways where, you know, these external factors cause so much of that you start to think that it's actually you, even though you're not living your life in ways where mentally you're, you know, projecting or judging people, or emotionally you're not, you know, seeing people and speaking or treating them in a way that doesn't reflect the truth of who they are. You're not going about in life, you know, just tormenting people. Like, and it could be in the smallest or biggest of form. If you're not living your life that way, then what comes back shouldn't be the reflection of that. You should bear the fruit of your action. You should bear the fruit of your good deeds. So when you're doing good deeds into the world, and as soon as you start to experience the reflection of those good deeds, then something interferes with that. No, that's not natural, right? So then the belief that says this always happens, even that itself, it's like a projection that's been placed because of the results of all the external interferences. So, yes, I can take a break today and not, who knows, maybe just for the next few hours, and not go into the organization of the space as I wanted to until tomorrow. And also understand, like, the way that many events have occurred in my childhood, they were not management team present mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Even if some were there physically, they weren't there emotionally and mentally, right? So it's almost like, instead of saying like these are the circumstances that always take place, no, these are the circumstances that take place under such conditions. And so when you change the conditions, you're supposed to have a different result. And if you're not having a different result, that's when you go into further investigation as to, well, all the conditions are present, what else is taking place, right? What else is taking place? Because if the normal thing is supposed to happen and the normal thing is not happening, what's causing that to happen? And so, yeah, that's where I am with that. And I'm very firm, like, in the last couple of years with maintenance people, because not only do they remind me of my childhood where people were just reckless, because usually people behave recklessly when they know there isn't someone there making sure that they do their job well. Like, but in all honesty, imagine you hire someone who about their business. They could come in and do the thing properly and leave. So then it goes back to also the selection of people, right? Because not everybody falls under that category, which is something I've been thinking about. I'm like, is also the selection of people that are being hired as maintenance people. They are low quality in terms of their own skills, but also in their character. So that's one. And then what else? And then in terms of like cleaning the space and having this different sense of energy flow is allowing me, it's calling me in a sense to be like, okay, your inner child is needing you right now for an event that's being brought up for your healing, for it to be released. So all these combination of like connection of things with reference to needing to just get up and be busy and organize the home. Okay, like, okay, you're gonna do it, so what's the urgency? And then 2, what is it triggering? And then 3, okay, once you identify the trigger, it's time to do what with it? It's time to, it's time to release it. It's time to see it and then release it. And so that's what sometimes you're being pulled to be still offers you. Is this like, this sense of like there's something inside you that needs to be addressed right now. Something is being triggered inside of you that needs to be addressed right now. And one of the other things I feel like, and I'm still trying to identify that because it happens to me often. I feel like I am put back into a space of isolation, divinely guided. And I'm like, again, it's like, am I going to spend most of my life in a period of isolation? Come on, when do I get outside? And then it just offers this like when I think about it, there's literally such a restriction around where I can go, what I can do. Sometimes even to go outside for a walk, it's like, nope, you're not doing that. So I just sit in the backyard. Because I'm like, I want fresh air and I want to stare at the trees without looking through the window. And I can't be the only one like that goes through this period of isolation in this form. And it might sound like, oh, you're not pushing yourself enough or you should be doing. No, it has nothing to do with that. Like, it has nothing to do with that. So I'm trying to sort out loud and make sense of what's taking place. What's taking place. I come from a big family, like even as with siblings, like, we're a big group of people, mashallah. And so to be just sitting in my space, like with me, myself, and I all day, the next day and the day after, it's like, I feel like I could be building a spaceship or something. Like, shouldn't I be putting together some kind of like, I don't know, like I have all this energy that I can pour into something, and I'm just being guided to just rest, and I can do it, right? I just feel like divinely, usually my rest and isolation periods don't come with a lot of information. I don't receive like, this is why. And sometimes I don't receive it even when I start, going out and doing stuff until, for a while. Can I know? It's crazy. And so that's what I'm doing today. That's what I'm doing today. Just doing nothing. And I want to conquer the world. I want to conquer the world. I guess I'm supposed to be designing what I want my next chapter to look like. Or maybe my next chapter is going to be so busy doing all the amazing things that I love doing with the people I enjoy doing it with, that, you know, just learning to use the rest periods in between to just rest. And so I'm like this person I've always been, where like I love to socialize, you know. I'm not used to, you would think after all these years that I've been doing it, where, you know, I would take myself out to go eat, you know, to restaurants by myself. One of the amazing times I had, I was going to the movies by myself. It was a comedy with Kevin Hart. It was so funny. I loved it. I was like, I need to do more of this. I think I might do this on, what are we, Monday? I think tomorrow things are closed since we're on holiday. But I'm going to have to take myself to the movies again. And so I just feel like after having done it for a certain period of time, like, are we still doing it? Are we still in like isolation? How much longer? And I'm good with it to a certain extent. And I'll continue. Like this morning I woke up. Tell me why I woke up around, what time did I get up? Before 7. I got up, I went and I prayed. Had breakfast. Did I have breakfast? No, I didn't have breakfast. Prayed. Went back to bed and I slept till like 10 something. Then I got up, had breakfast, did dishes. And I feel like right now that it's like almost 2 p.m. If I continue laying here, I'm going to have to take a nap. Because it's like... So maybe I'm resting the physical body. Maybe my body is being upgraded in ways that divine needs it to be prepared for the next amazing adventure. And so, and at the same time, natural healing is taking place. I'm releasing old triggers around needing to go. I'm releasing triggers around maintenance people because they were part of my trauma growing up. I'm releasing the need for things to be done in such a rush, out of the fear of like, if it's not done now, like the opportunity for it to be done later will be robbed or taken away. Also that like, what else? What's the other one? But and that joy can be just robbed if you start to show it too much. Like, screw all that. I'm gonna show joy all the way. I'm gonna show it all the way across town. I'm gonna show joy. So I'm not being bullied into not doing that. I'm gonna show my joy all the way across town. So what does healing look like? What does healing look like? And it's so different for everyone because it's never measured according to what someone else has gone through, and it's never on the same timeline. And when you consciously make the effort to do the work, you're just allowing the generation after you to arrive at their healing abilities sooner, right? The more you delay yours, the more trauma that can be experienced that is unnecessary because of repeated patterns and behaviors. And so when I talk about my journey, as I'm speaking, I am unfolding and uncovering meaning of things, meanings of like triggers, meanings of certain behaviors and patterns, and how things are showing up for me to finally see them and release them. And so I've been around so many different healers, and there's just different methods of how each person addresses it. And so to always be okay with your process, at the same time looking into support systems that can offer you tools that maybe you have not heard of, and mannerisms that like can aid you in ways that maybe you haven't considered. And so this is me, Fozia, on my journey across the bridge, where I am doing my healing work to go from operating mostly from here and walking on my journey to return to my heart, so that I can operate from the core of my being, so I can operate from the center of who I am, from the center of who God has created me to be, and to remember who I am, to remember why I am here, and to enjoy this human experience as it was meant to be experienced. So let's go out there and kick ass. And if I shared anything on this recording or any other previous recording that may serve you, I hope you take full advantage of it. And if not, leave it where it is. Maybe it will benefit somebody else. If you do like this video based on the content of information that was shared, please click the like button. If you think that I may share something that might inspire you to start your own healing journey, I hope you click the notification bell so that you will know when I do post, as I don't yet post as often, but I probably will. I try to post when I am led to post. Yes. And if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel and be part of this this journey across the bridge, where we are returning to our heart center and operating from there, not to dismiss the abilities and the purpose of our mind, but to be able to coexist and operate from both spaces, so that we can get the full benefit of this experience. Then I hope you subscribe and leave a comment. Leave a comment that not only improves the quality of your day, but that it also puts a smile on my face. If the comment is with reference to how we can all grow in a way that better serves all of us, then you can leave that too. But if it's anything that does not serve anyone and does not help the trees grow, I would say release them to Mother Earth so that it could be transformed. You see why we have trees? They take in what we don't need, what we release, and they transform it into pure energy and give it back to us. So let's be good to one another. Again, I'm Fozia on my healing journey, on my journey across the bridge, returning to the authenticity of who I am. Mwah. Bye.